In this video, I'm going to show you how to create and utilize a profit loss spreadsheet using Excel. So I actually recorded this video back in 2020 and just now decided to post it. So this is a tutorial for 2022. However, some of the charts in Excel, you'll see that say 2020. Disregard any dates in this video because they're easily changeable.
This template will work for beginners or also high volume sellers that are selling a lot of items per month. It's pretty user friendly. And so yeah, I'm going to make sure the link is in the bio to the spreadsheet so you can go ahead and click and download that. It might be easier for you to follow along. So when you first open up the spreadsheet, go ahead and make a copy of it first and then rename it and then save it. That way you have your own copy for your own business. And then you'll also notice that there's a bunch of tabs at the bottom. So I don't want to dive too deep. I don't want to dive too deep into like all of them right off the bat, but I'll definitely go through them as we go along. So the first tab you want to click on is your live all inventory. This is basically the tab that's going to have all your listings and all your inventory that you have currently. And you can just keep building to this list. It can go down all the way to like thousands and stuff like that. Your first thing is your status right here on the left. It has a drop down menu for sold, bought, and listed. So for example, if you have an item and it's listed, you'll have it scheduled as listed, and then once you sell it, you change it to sold. This will have an effect on another data point that I'll talk about in a little bit, but it also allows you to track like what you have sold, or what you have bought, what you've listed, and what you've sold. So if you bought it and haven't listed it yet, then that's when you'll use the bought status. But normally it'll either be listed or sold. So the next item is your item ID. So the ID number that is associated with it on eBay. It's a really nice ID number to have, and you'll see why in a little bit. So that goes right here, and then you have a title. So go ahead and you can just copy and paste your title from eBay. The next one is the COGS, or your cost of goods. So how much you spent for the item, how much it cost you. Then you have your buy date and your sold date. So when you bought it and when you sold it. So the first, I'm going to go ahead and use this item I sold recently. It's a moment wide lens for an iPhone, but I'm going to use it for this as an example. So what you would do is you go to your eBay, you go to your sold items, and you click on this item. And go ahead and click the view PayPal transaction, which will bring up this screen right here. This will have pretty much everything you need on it to fill out your spreadsheet. So what you'll do is you go ahead and copy and paste your title. And then you'll go ahead and your item ID number is right next to it. So go ahead and copy and paste that as well. And then your cost of goods, this was actually given to me as a gift, so I don't have anything as far as cost goes. The buy date, I got this sometime in February, so I'm just gonna put 2/1. Didn't necessarily buy it, but, and then the sold date was, I believe, March 19th. Okay. 3/19. And that's it for this thing. That's it for this tab. So after you get that all filled out, the status for this one is sold, obviously, because it's sold. But if it wasn't sold and it was just listed, I would have it as listed. But I'm going to leave it as sold. Then after you're done doing all that, you go ahead and highlight that, copy it, and you'll go to the month that it was sold. So not the buy, but the sold date. So it was sold in March. So I'll go over here down at the bottom and click on the March tab. I will click on the first box. In this case, it's A11. It's right below the gray bar, and hit paste. And I hit paste values only, just so it doesn't mess up with the formatting and stuff. And there's your item. So the next thing you want to do is go ahead and click on platform. And I sold that on eBay, but if you sold anything anywhere else, you can also choose a different option. And the cost of goods was, or not the cost of goods. So the next, this is where it can get kind of confusing. So these items or these titles right here are what corresponds with your item down here. So for example, that was platform, eBay, sold date right there. So this one's going to be your total revenue. So your total revenue can be found back on your PayPal transaction, and the total gross revenue was 3630 or 7634. So I'll go ahead and hit that and there. So that's how much the total PayPal transaction was. Now, the next column is your eBay, so your eBay fees. You can find your eBay fees by simply going to your account tab and clicking at the bottom and hit fees. And then you can also just copy and paste your item number right here in the search bar, which makes it so much easier if you have a lot of items that you sold. That's one reason why the item number comes in handy. And listed below is all the fees that eBay charged you for selling your items. So right here on the right, it'll tell you the total, which is $11.55. So we'll go over to our spreadsheet and type in $11.55. Our PayPal fee can be found on your PayPal transaction summary. Right here it's $2.51. And then shipping, you go to your account on eBay, and on the left under sell, you click shipping labels, and then you can also search the item number again right here, which narrows it down so you don't have to scroll through and try to find which one's which. You know exactly where it's at. And for this one, we spent $3.67. So after you're done inputting that all in, you can see your total revenue minus all your fees, and that'll be at the last column is your earnings, which is your total profit loss. So the formula for your earnings would basically just be your total revenue minus your cost of goods, minus your eBay fees, minus your PayPal fees, and minus your shipping, and that'll be the total amount profit you earned after everything. Of course, this doesn't include like gas and stuff like that to go drop it off, or your shipping supplies. Most of my shipping supplies I get for free, but I also order poly mailers. You can, if you really want to get nitpicky with it, you can include like your shipping costs and add another column right here. But for right now, I have it implemented somewhere else, and that's under the expenses and purchases. So I'm not going to include that there. So the total after everything, I got a PayPal transaction for $76.34. And most people would be like, okay, yeah, $76.34. Yeah, I made $76 off this. Well, that's not true. You have to subtract your fees, your PayPal, your shipping, and this gives you a relative number to how much it costs. I normally charge people for shipping, but for this one I didn't, so the shipping came out of my fee. But normally the shipping will offset in the total revenue if you charge them for shipping. So yeah, so that's an example of just this one item. After you've done your first item, you can go through and list all the rest of them using your live all inventory. And like I said, I have a lot of my actual spreadsheet, which I will show you right now. So this is an example of like what mine looks like right now. I have everything listed. There's a few of them missing item numbers, and this one, for example, I haven't, at the bottom, the Halifax mug, I haven't listed it yet. And the reason it's good to have the sold, bought, and listed statuses updated right after it happens is because at the front on your summary tab at the top, you see it says unlisted items and listed items. So right now it's telling me I have 35 listed items and 1 unlisted, so I know I need to list 1 item, and I can go find that. And under the transaction summary, it tells you the transactions that you have per month. So I had 0 in January, 1 in February, 8 in March, and 2 in April so far. So that's nice to have like how many transactions total have at the top. That's a nice thing about the summary. After you're done doing all of that, we're gonna go back to the other spreadsheet. That was sold in March. Okay, so let's just say that was the only item you sold in March. So you're gonna go to the front. You have 58.61 as your total earnings. You'll go to the summary, and in March we have 58. Crap, what was that? 58.61. Okay. You'll update these numbers at the end of the month. And then so right here it'll tell you I don't know why that's highlighted. But anyway, it will update and say that you have one item sold. You can go through and check your March and see how many items you sold. So right here it says transactions. You can update that on your summary. So we have one item, one transaction. Our pre-tax earnings was 58.61. And then, yeah, so it updates all the way down at the bottom. So we're going to stay on the summary tab for a second. I already explained these two sections up here. The next one is your expenses. So that corresponds with your expenses tab right here. So for this example, I just put the polymailers, the price of the polymailers from Amazon. It's a cost of business and therefore an expense. And that was $14.59. So we'll go to March and $14.59. And you'll see that it updated over here as your total expenses for the year. And it also subtracts it from your total pre-tax earnings to update it from 58 to 44. And if you had other expenses, like let's just say I bought the same thing, but I also bought it in, just say 2-1, just for example. So that'll update that. My total expenses for the year are $29.18, but this falls under the February expenses. So say $14.59. So since I didn't make anything or sell anything in February, this is obviously going to be red. It's going to be negative. It cost me $14.59. That's my total net profit loss of February. But we can go ahead and erase that. That was just an example. So yeah, after you enter all that, here at the bottom, you have your total profit loss. And I have it conditionally formatted in the last row to either highlight red if it's negative or green if it's positive. That way you know like each month if you're in the negative or if you're in the positive, and at the end it's your total profit loss. So yeah, this sounds like super complicated, but if you just follow the steps by implementing or inputting each item in as you go, it updates a lot easier. So if I go back to mine, you can see in the month of March, I made a total of $104.36. It takes the total of all this. And right here, I wanted to highlight this as well. See how it's negative $2.45. I actually thought I made money on this 80s Scene It game, but after taxes and shipping and stuff, I actually lost $2.45. Now, this is honestly embarrassing because I found the reason why. It was through the shipping. I should have shipped it flat rate and saved money instead of shipping it by weight, and ended up costing me more than I wanted it to. But this is why the spreadsheet is so useful, because you can go through and see and eliminate these mistakes that are costing you money. So now I know I either need to list it for more or check my shipping. Here's my summary of my profit 2020 reselling spreadsheet. It has a lot more numbers in it to make it a little bit more realistic. So far I did not sell anything in January. So after my eBay store subscription, which was $7.95, I actually lost money, so you can see that. And then throughout so far, you can see I'm increasing, obviously. April, I've sold 2 items so far. It's been a slow month due to like not being able to travel and stuff or go outside. I have no way of getting inventory right now, which is a bummer, but I expect to see these increase over and over. These are negative right now because it's including my eBay store subscription automatically, even though I haven't made any sales or anything like that. so far total, if I cashed out right now and stopped reselling, I would have made a profit of $64. Doesn't sound like much, but if we go ahead and delete these other fees, I'm actually sitting at $128 right now, which isn't bad for only being, slow sales, not really having the time to source, and due to our lockdown, like I said, it's kind of hard to get more items. I expect this to increase a lot, especially throughout the summer, because one, there's a lot of garage sales and yard sales, and two, all the stores are opening up here soon, so I can actually go back out and get more items to buy and resell. Right now, my goal is to make $100 a week, so $400 a month. You can see that I'm falling way behind that, but at the end of the year, I'm hoping to be around the $5,200 range. That would reach my goal of $100 a week and kind of scale it up from there. So I'm going to be doing an update every month of like what sold and like kind of like my profits and losses and stuff like that. That's all I have for this video. If you found this video helpful, please go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. I upload new videos every week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.